Fantastic. Well, speaking of the time things, and again, not to say anything ahead of time, because you know, there's a surprise around every corner, but soon there might be a bit more interesting things happening in your more normal time.
Great.
Yeah, so that's good. One of the tricky things, of course, with being live is that you can't mix your times up. It's no. The time that it is at the time that it is. No matter, like I often say when you're watching the sunset, is that well, or the world turn, depending on how you look at that. But whenever you're watching the sunset, is that, you know, it's 24 hours a day. There's a sun setting somewhere and a sun rising somewhere, and you can only be relative to that spot, relatively speaking, to where you are in the world. But yeah, maybe that's something that'll come along down the line.
It sounds exciting. Yeah. Like I said, there's a surprise just in Wild Earth itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's from month to month you see the maturity and the innovation. Really is what I think is exciting about Wild Earth for us. And just continue to innovate. It's great.
And also, you mentioned earlier, and again, I'm still learning about how and what we can talk about. So pretty much one thing I have learned with Wild Earth, which is fantastic, is that you can pretty much talk about anything when you want to talk about it. But you guys do a lot of touring with your photography and so on, and you go to a variety of photographic exhibitions and so on.
Fine art
shows on the East Coast.
And I get a million requests. How do I go do this? Where do I go? And I try to turn them all on into the different airlines that come this way, and of course Juma is always at the top of the list, and I give them the virtual websites and things like that. So hopefully, I know some of them have come this way, because we always receive emails back from people that have come this way and told us what a wonderful time they had. So, you know, it's more getting that word out to the public. You know, because there's a lot of people, there's so much interest. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to get to it. They don't know how to even start.
It's like an expedition, you know.
It is an expedition.
You know, it's you're going somewhere that's out of the normal context of what you do day to day. So.
And quite often, I would say, 5-6 times a show, we always get the question, do you take people with you? So there's always people willing for us to bring with us.
Maybe that's our next innovation.
Yeah, bring some people along.
Right.
Well, we had recently another group of people here with Beth and them that were about 15, 16 people that were all traveling together. They do things like that together every year. And it's not it's not like a specific tour operator that does it. It's just that they travel together and they plan things like that. And that's one of the really big joys for me with doing game drives the way we do, is that I really feel like I've got friends on the vehicle. I speak to one individual, and they've got, that one individual has got a whole lot of personalities within it and a whole lot of ages and demographic build up to it. But is that you feel like you're traveling with friends, and that makes a big difference. You know, the fact
it's true, and it's like giving my customers the websites.
Sorry, just what is the website? Just I'm sure people would be keen to have a look at.
My website is www.natureslegacy-photo.com.
Natureslegacy-photo.com.
Yeah, if you don't put dash photo, you'll end up with garden stuff.
You get gardening supplies. You missed the dash photo.
But you have to put the dash photo there to get to our website. But I mean, there's a picture there of a mother lioness carrying a cub. That's just phenomenal, and just different ones that we've caught from.
Well, that's the thing, is the more time you spend in the bush, and I'm sure even so to just come back to the fact of, you know, feeling like you're going around with friends, is to a large extent that makes it even more fun to spend a lot of time in the bush, because we've got memories, we've got shared memories. You know, like I said, when I met you last night at the bar briefly the first time, and I felt this every single time we've met people along the way. You know, Kerry Miller was out here a while back. I was just seeing something on the Facebook or something tonight about that. But it really feels like we know each other a little bit already. Or more than a little bit. And that is very interesting as well. And that comes, we spoke about it. We're not going to go on about it too long now, because I'm sure the time is running out and everything. But that's a very interesting part of what Wild Earth is doing for me, is that social interaction and the ability that we sit here and we talk like friends already.
Right. And, I know every time we come, as it gets closer to our arrival time, we start counting days, and then it goes to hours, and then it goes to minutes, but we always feel like we're coming home.
It is.
That's what it feels like to us, and it's just a phenomenal feeling for us.
I can't underestimate the spiritual benefits, independent of all the wonderful things you'll see here, that coming to the bush is all about.
We tell a lot of people it's a spiritual experience, and it'll change your whole perspective on life.
No, definitely.
And it's just something that you'll never ever forget. And I can always tell by the people that have been here by the smiles on their face.
Those little smiles, we know.
Yeah.
No, it really is. I mean, I always talk about it as the bush. The bush is a generic place for me. That is a wild place where all the big animals are still around and we're all part of it. If I can ask you one last question, then I think we've got to run out before we run out of electricity, maybe.
Okay.
But for you guys that have come to Juma for a very long time now, I mean, you've known Juma literally go through its paces as well, the same as Wild Earth.
Growth period,
and having seen the bush change and all the different aspects that go along with it. But how would you say the experience with being on drive with Wild Earth in an environment that you know personally, intimately as well, as having spent a lot of time with your feet on the ground, relative to the experience you gain from going on the drive?
Very good question.
I think you understand what I mean.
I think I understand what you mean. And Wild Earth, I mean, doing this for real out here, okay, and we try to do it for as long as we can, okay, before obligations force us back into other things. But Wild Earth gives you everything you get from a live drive, except the smells, the other senses. Really. You get the hearing, you get the visuals, you get the perspectives, okay. And the one thing I would say you get better on Wild Earth from the expeditions is you get a constant feedback, okay, because we keep the rangers occupied on the live drives, and we work Texan and others very hard here when they're here. Don't come with a checklist, by the way. The bush is the bush, and the less expectations, our experiences, the more you're going to see. So less is more, traditionally. But I'd say Wild Earth, you get all that educational aspects on a continuous basis, and you just don't get the smells and the other kind of stuff, which for us is very pleasant. I mean, it's hard to describe it. You drive through some wild lavender at certain times of the year, and wow, it just puts you in the moment from many years ago, as we talked about
big time
before.
So memory flashback.
Wild Earth, I think, is as close as you can get to the real deal, okay? And it's nothing else. It's an excellent preparation for your own expedition. Thank you. Great question.
Yeah, thank you for answering it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to see you, obviously. I think Texan's going to take you back. You've got dinner waiting. If my watch is not on at the moment. But
you're between us and dinner? Oh, that's terrible.
I was going to say, we didn't tell you about the food.
No, there's too much food here. That's the only downside,
Thank you so much. We'll see you. I mean, you're still here until Thursday, so we'll definitely see you for a couple more drinks and maybe a bit of breakfast or something. And come and chat. But thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Who's jumping in next? Thank you so much. That was awesome. Simon, you're going to jump in, and Herman's going to.
Oh, not a problem.
Wow. All right, Texan, thanks a lot, Umfo. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Simon, I'm going to actually stay in this.